All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Megan Miley. I'm the program director here at Dress for Success Twin Cities. This is our second in the series called Breaking Bad. I almost said Breaking Bad. Breaking Barriers, more importantly, Breaking Barriers, in partnership with the Hennepin County Library, St. Louis Park Family Services Collaborative, and St. Louis Park Community Education. I'm thrilled to have you all here. We are going to be talking about childcare resources in the Twin Cities area. And I have a special guest, Ann Holtz from Whittier Wildflowers, director there, who is going to be providing tips on what to look for in childcare settings, childcare facilities, and how to prepare as a caregiver yourself, as maybe the parent, grandparent who's the primary caretaker, and how to prepare your kiddo for childcare and preschool also. All right, so I am going to give you just a little bit the agenda here tonight. So we are going to start with Shelby Gunderson from the Hennepin County Library, and then we'll be moving on to Paula Landis, who is from YWCA Minneapolis. Then we're going to have Felecia and Judith from Think Small, and Ann Holtz will have a lovely presentation for us the second half of the event here. Shelby, go ahead, please.
Okay. Hey everyone, Hennepin County Library is really excited to be co-hosting this program series. Again, my name is Shelby, and my title at Minneapolis Central is I'm a CTEP Digital Literacy Coordinator at Minneapolis Central Library. And we're offering a lot of programming right now. So kind of some of the programming we're offering. So some of it is surrounding digital literacy or technology support, and the other part is job assistance and job search. So as far as digital literacy right now, I'm personally taking one-on-one appointments. We also have computer tutors here on specific days and times of the week. And we're also starting next week offering a 3-part computer basics workshop. And as far as, and I'll also put the program flyers in the chat. And as far as job assistance, we're currently hosting, we have some partners that are hosting at Minneapolis Central. So we have Goodwill Easter Seals on Thursday afternoons at 2 p.m. And Avivo is here every other Wednesday at 2 p.m. for drop-in career counseling. So a lot happening, and I'll drop some stuff in the chat. Again, thank you for attending and enjoy. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Shelby. We're always thrilled to be working with Hennepin County Library. Let's see here. When I think about childcare in the Twin Cities, we do have a lot of resources, and I'm really excited to share these resources with you. One of those resources is the YWCA Minneapolis. Paula Landis, please go ahead.
Hi, everybody. So I'm Paula Landis. I work at YWCA Minneapolis. We have a teacher development program that's designed to do 2 things. First of all, it provides participants with a digital literacy certificate in Google Docs. Shelby, you might be familiar with that. Are you running the North Star Digital Literacy program? Is that yours?
Yep. So I'll be teaching workshops, and we'll be ending them with the North Star. Yep.
Yeah, that's so cool. So our program is primarily on Zoom now since we switched we do some half and half, some mostly Zoom. And so everybody needs to know how to use Google Docs when they're working in our class. And then they go through the course. It's about a 6-month course that provides you with all of the preparation that you need in order to test for the Child Development Associate credential. And that's commonly called the CDA, which is also called like the first step into early childhood education. So it puts you on a career path. You can use your certificate as a stepping stone into higher education. And it allows you to either be an assistant teacher or a lead teacher. And I have a page or a slide that I can drop the link to in the chat. And I do have some time if there's any questions. It's free for anybody who qualifies to attend. We're in our 6th year. And
So, Paula, so a lot of times, and I think we'll hear from Think Small on this too, is we have individuals who are looking for childcare, or they might become a childcare provider, because then they get to spend more time with their own kiddos. They might take in other kids and it becomes a source of income. Is that correct? And so with the CDA, you can go out and become a licensed child care provider in home, I assume?
yeah,
Or you could
well,
also work at a center.
oh yeah, for sure. Right now at YWCA, we work with people that are working in center-based care. So folks that are doing family-based care, there is a CDA credential that you can get as a family-based provider. And I know that the folks from Think Small will provide the link to two different new resources that we have in Minnesota. One is called the Wayfinder, that's designed to help people on the path to opening their own either family-based or group care-based program. And then also the Empower to Educate program that is designed to meet everybody individually where they are and help them on their own individualized path to their professional development in whichever way early childhood comes to them or they come to it. So at YWCA, I work with primarily aides. We're open to all of Minnesota. So I have people from northern Minnesota, southern Minnesota, Twin Cities, all coming together in Zoom. Sometimes I have, like I said, live sessions. And they're all typically new teachers or teachers who have been working as aides in a center-based environment. And they want the next credential that's going to allow them to move up in their responsibility levels and garner the higher wages that you can get when you're an assistant teacher or a lead teacher.
Paula, where are we at? What is an entry, entry point wage for someone who is going to work in a center? And then secondly, what kinds of incomes do you see with your former students, certificate holders, if they're doing in-home care?
Well, I don't have data on in-home care because I work primarily with center-based care. So the folks at Childcare Aware and the Empower program, or the Navigator program would probably be better poised to answer that. And then as far as wages that people typically earn as an aide, it varies because the federal minimum wage is different from, what different counties might be offering and then versus the state. I think people are pushing close to the $15 to $18 an hour. And then we are seeing several dollars increased once people have their certificate. So, and that it's not always guaranteed though, right? So meeting the qualifications to be an assistant teacher or a lead teacher by the state levels doesn't guarantee that the center might not have higher standards than that. So some centers you're required to have, Anne's nodding, right? So like some centers require teachers to have different level degrees. Head Start has different degrees. So it really varies center by center. But the point is with the CDA, you know that the person has received at a minimum 120 hours of education in each of these critical content areas that have to do with child growth and development. And then they've demonstrated their skill by putting together this beautiful portfolio. They've been observed and they've taken a national test that is, the CDA can go anywhere with anyone in the United States. So it's a one of a kind, really solid, well-respected credential that we also have in the state. Oh, I didn't even add this to my slide, but in the last few years, the two-year colleges have worked really hard to connect the credential, the CDA credential, with course credit. So my program has partnership with Anoka Hennepin Tech and MCTC and Rasmussen. And so teachers can bring their CDA, once they've earned their CDA, to a college, and they are going to get 6 course credits for that certificate. So typically like the health and safety class that you'll be required to take. And then you can get your child development diploma, which is like a 10 or a 12-year credit. And then from there, you can go on to your AA. And then the 4-year colleges have worked with the 2-year colleges to make a crosswalk so that you don't have to lose your 2-year credits when you want to go on and get a BA. So it's
We
a
do.
pathway.
Oh, thank you. We do have one participant in the room interested in learning more. So Paula, make sure you check out that chat and get their contact information.
I will. I'll drop the links into the chat too for everyone.
Fantastic. My last question is, do you provide childcare for individuals who are taking classes, especially if it's in person at YWCA?
Actually, the courses are tending to be after work hours, so 6:30 to 8:30 or on the weekend. And so we're YWCA Minneapolis. So we're like, if you're at home and you've got your dogs and your cats and your kids crawling all over you, so am I. So that's cool. And then in some of our live classes, when folks have young children like in arms still, they sometimes bring them to class with them. But most of our classes are in Zoom right now. So no, I don't have a need to provide that. But part of our program is to provide wraparound services. So our case manager will work with each individual to make sure that they have kind of everything in place that they need, including the digital technology and childcare assistance and all of the stuff that you need in order to get yourself set up to be successful.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much, Paula. We're so grateful to you. And I know you have to go and actually teach a class now. So good luck to you.
Thanks. I'm going to drop that stuff in the chat before I go, though. Okay.
Terrific. We are going to go to Felecia now from Think Small to hear all about resources at Think Small. Looks like you're muted.
Sorry.
Happens all the time to all of us.
Try that again. So hello, everyone. I am going to share my screen. All right. Can you see it?
Not quite. I bet I need to make you a co-host. There you go.
That? Very good. Okay, we good? All right. Well, so Think Small, I am the outreach and enrollment coordinator at Think Small. And I thought the easiest way to start talking about early learning scholarships would be to show you our website. So you just go to thinksmall.org. And here we have our kind of our bulletin that tells you what's going on, classes that you can take with our Think Small Institute. But down here on the bottom, it says apply for an early learning scholarship. There's also additional resources here, Pathways to Quality, the Early Learning Scholarship, and then our Deborah Fish Childhood Resource Library, which is a great place for folks who are early educators or educators of all ages, but early educators to get in and find some resources to help teach. So there you go. All right, so off to our scholarship page. Here you have the eligibility and a little bit of information about early learning scholarships. So the way the scholarship works is families can apply for an early learning scholarship with Think Small if they live in Ramsey or Hennepin County. These scholarships are funded through the Department of Education, and it is a statewide program. So regardless of where you live, there is an area administrator for you in that specific county. And when I put in the links, I'll put in that document as well. So children have to be 3 or 4 years old by September 1st of the award year. And if a family has children that are younger than that, then they have to meet specific eligibility requirements. Families also have to have income eligibility. Does not mean that you have to have income because we understand that not everyone is working when they're applying. So if you have some county or other state programs that you utilize, you can just send us a copy of that. And on the next tab, there's the application. It does take a little bit of time. The scholarships are not something that happen quickly. So I strongly encourage families to apply as soon as they know that they are eligible, especially if they have children that are age eligible, and apply for these scholarships. You might be on a wait list for a while, so we try to make sure that folks are also applying for childcare assistance in order to, you know, kind of have some backup plans. But yeah, that's the gist of it. And then I'm going to go on to parent aware. So when a family is awarded, we utilize parent aware programs have to be parent aware rated in order to have their care paid for by us. And so we use this website, and we also call them at this number up here, 888-291-9811, and they help us out. So this is a great website. I think it's sponsored by Childcare Aware, and you can go on here. There's some awesome program information for folks who want to become parent aware rated. That's something that the Wayfinder, I think, can talk a little bit about. Judith will do that. But yeah, there's just so many resources that are on this website and also on the Think Small website. And I don't really have what else can I tell you?
This
I
is
think that's it.
fantastic. Open it up here for the moment for any of our participants who have any questions regarding Think Small or Parent Aware and what Felecia just presented. And feel free to, oh, Brittany, I see you unmuted. Go ahead.
Yes, I have a question. So I know you said parents should apply early because there's a potential long wait list. So for example, if the child is 2, but by September 1st, could I apply now and then just kind of wait that year?
Well,
Is that what you recommend, or?
Well, I would say that this would be a conversation we could have if you, I'll put my contact information in the chat, and if you wanted to give me a call. Sometimes there's additional, like if your child is 2, if you have special circumstances where your family might qualify early so that your child could be awarded at the age of 2, you could do that. So just to kind of briefly go over that, if a family's experienced homelessness in the past 2 years, that can be anything from having lived in a shelter or currently living in a shelter, moving from place to place due to economic instability, living with family and friends because you need to double up in order to make ends meet. Anything like that would qualify your child to be awarded early. You still would have to submit income documents, but if you don't have income and you don't get, like, say, SNAP or MFIP, or if you don't have an older child that receives free and reduced lunch, you can sign the declaration of no income, and that works as income. That'll work as an income verification, I guess. So does that answer your question? I always talk around.
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Okay.
That's terrific.
Okay.
And you know what's great about doing a recording and doing a session like this is when we can put names and faces and organizations and know kind of who to reach out. I think that can be really frustrating and annoying when we're reaching out to large state or large organizations and you don't even know who and if you're going to get an answer and that kind of thing. So Felecia, that just means the world to us. You in that answer referenced, and I want to share the screen here and pull it up, a program called MFIP. You had said the MFIP program, Minnesota Family Investment Program. And I guess my internet is a little slow at the moment. I wanted to pull up that link and show everybody, but we're going to have to play the music from Jeopardy to get there.
Can I just jump in real quick?
Absolutely.
So
because there's a childcare aspect to it, right?
Right. So one of the things that we do tell families that if they're waiting for, like maybe they get on the wait list, or maybe they're just waiting for your award to kick in or something. But we tell families to try to kind of find alternate means to make ends meet, if that makes sense. So if you can get MFIP this, or if you get the SNAP, the food stamps, that helps save a little bit of money in other areas so that you can put it towards something else. Doesn't mean you have to be on it, for long term, but that's what these benefits are there for, to help you and give you that little boost, so that you can make ends meet, so that eventually you can get to where, you don't need those anymore. But the scholarship too, one thing I didn't say, the scholarship is available. Once you're awarded, your child is available and can continue having that scholarship until they go into kindergarten. So it's, it starts off as a a big help, but it just continues until they're, off and on their own in kindergarten, not on their own, but
That's terrific. And I did pop the link for MFIP and for SNAP into the chat box there. Thank you, Paula. Have a good session, great session tonight. Well, thank you so much, Felecia. And if you're able to stay on the line and see, if there's other questions that come up that we would love it. Otherwise, we absolutely respect your time. I know we're right in the middle of some dinner hours, which is one of the reasons that we do this session now, is that many of our clients are working during the day and they can't be here. So we found that this is one of the most popular times for our programming. Now let's, I'm excited to introduce Judith Foster from Think Small, also your colleague there, Felecia. Judith.
Hi.
Welcome. Oh, and I just muted you. There we go. I'm sorry. I was trying to unmute you. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Judith. I am a childcare wayfinder navigator. So this is a new statewide initiative that's across the whole state of Minnesota. Me and my colleagues at Think Small, we specifically work with the 4 metro counties: Anoka, Washington, Ramsey, and Hennepin. And what we do is we help people who are interested in starting their own childcare business, whether it be in the home or in a center. We help them through the licensing process. We give them resources and connect them with other agencies that help them with startup grants. We connect them with like First Children's Finance to help with like doing a business plan. We get them registered for different courses and professional development if they're interested or need to take certain courses to be a licensed provider. We help them with that as well. We also offer, we call it a learning communities, and it's a 5-week series where we cover everything about being a licensed provider, whether family or center provider. And we start from the orientation process all the way through to different business skills. And we have different speakers that come on a couple of times during the sessions, and they talk about the food programs, a little bit about the CCAP, the scholarships, Parent Aware. So we just really connect our clients with all the resources out there to be successful providers. Our program is free. There's no charge for any of the resources that we offer. We also recently, we used to give a kit. Oh yes, thank you, Megan. This is one way to get to our website. It's through the Think Small website, but I'll also put in the link, our direct website. But if you were to click the request a free consultation, it goes right to an inquiry form, and you will fill out this form, and you will be dispersed amongst the Wayfinder navigators at Think Small, and you'll get a navigator to help you through the process. We also, we do the learning community. We used to give away kits, which were like a startup kit, and it would be a crib and different manipulative toys. But we recently switched that, and now we give a startup voucher. So with the voucher, depending on if you're a family childcare or a childcare center, the value of the voucher kind of changes depending on what style of center you're opening, whether it's center or in-home center. But we give a voucher, and the voucher can be used at Lakeshore. A portion of it is allocated for Lakeshore. So you're able to order we have an approved list of supplies that providers can order from, anywhere from cribs to different manipulative toys and things like that. So and it gets delivered either to your home or to your center directly. And then we also have funds in that voucher that are allocated to Red Leaf Press, which is a book company. And so you're able to order a certain amount of books as well for your center or your in-home daycare.
So wonderful. So this, Judith, what you're talking about here with the Wayfinder navigation program is also similar to, in that piece, like when Paula was talking at YWCA, is that, starting and growing your own childcare business.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Wonderful.
We also work with not just startup, but we also do retention and expansion as well. So anyone who's already in the business and looking to go from family childcare center to an actual childcare center, we help them with that as well. And just expanding from family to a center, you're also eligible for all the funding and different grants that you would be eligible for if you were just a brand new provider starting off.
What kind of, I'd pose this question to Paula, but what kind of income could someone look at when they're starting out or growing their own childcare business?
Well, I don't have like an exact number or even a ballpark, simply because it all will depend on their licensing level. Like if they're licensed for so many children, they'll only, bring in so much funding. And it also depends on their rates. As a provider or a business owner, you get to set your own rates as well. So all of that will just be contingent upon how many children they're serving, and then the rates they choose to do as well. But another thing that I do want to add is after our clients have reached and have become licensed providers, we also set them up. The nice thing about going through our program with Think Small is we set them up with what we call a transitional coach. And so that coach helps them prepare for the parent aware process. And I know Felecia just spoke a little about parent aware and how important that is to, for your program to be able to be a star rated quality childcare program. So we set them up with a coach to help them get ready to apply for parent aware.
Well, fantastic. And I'm checking the chat box here. Looks like you've got someone who is interested in learning more about your program too, Judith. I did pop that website that we had referenced
Perfect.
in there. So fill out that form, anybody who's interested. And thank you so much for joining us tonight, Judith
Yes, no
and
problem.
Felecia.
And Megan, I can also
Yes.
send you over our flyer if you just want to have it on hand.
Absolutely.
On our flyer, there also is a QR code. So if you were to print it, your clients are able to just scan, and it will go right to the inquiry form as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much. So
Yes, you're
grateful
welcome.
to all of you. And feel free to, again, stay on the call. If you have more input, we welcome that. Otherwise, we understand if you need to get going. We are so excited to have Ann Holtz here present tonight. I'm going to make you a co-host so that you can share your screen.
All right. Hello. Good evening. I just have to share the caveat that Megan and I have been friends for a long time. So it's fun to be a part of this. So yeah, and I do have to admit, I've been in person teaching preschool and directing a preschool now for the last several years. But anyway, we've been in person. I haven't done a Zoom meeting or anything for over a year. So I'm feeling it's a beautiful thing. But I'm also feeling a little not techno savvy. Like I wish I'd be sharing my screen, and I don't know if I can do all those things. So
no problem. I am so happy you sent me the presentation. I would be so happy to do that. And you know what? We are so grateful you are in person and have been in person for those little kiddos all this time. And
indeed.
Just, let's see here. Give me a moment to pop open.
No worries. I'll just start talking because
Yeah.
that's what I do. Let me ask you, Megan, what's our timing for this evening? Because I don't want to talk longer than we want
Absolutely.
to.
Absolutely. Let's have you do the presentation for about 20 minutes, and we'll leave
Okay.
about 10 minutes for questions and conversation. So that'll
Sounds
be
good.
your timeline there. And I'm about to open up this beautiful presentation you
All right.
created for all of us here tonight.
Well, and with this, I have to tell you, this is my first Google experience using this. So
Did your kids help do it for you?
No, I did it all by myself. I was so proud. So
I'm proud of you. That's
but
great.
anyway,
This is great.
and I have to admit to Felecia and Judith, everything on here is straight from the Parent Aware website on how to look for childcare, because they really have the best resources. So I've linked all of that onto here, and just know that this is where all of that information has come from, because they know what they're doing there. But yeah, let me just introduce myself. So I'm Ann Holtz, have been friends with Megan for a very long time, but that's not why I'm here. I direct a nonprofit preschool called Whittier Wildflowers Preschool. We're in the Whittier neighborhood of South Minneapolis. And I've been in the early childhood field for over 30 years now. I have my bachelor's degree in early childhood and elementary education. Megan, you can flip us to the next slide since you're in control. There you go. So just a bit about me. I'm a mom of 3 mostly grown children and 1 sleeping dog behind me. That's Daisy. But yeah, I've been in the early childhood field for 30 years. I've been a preschool teacher, a toddler teacher, director, children's minister, and then I helped to found Whittier Wildflowers Preschool. We started 7 years ago. And so I have experience both in urban schools and suburban schools, for-profit, nonprofit, and yeah, and my joys, my family, my dog, going for walks and just connecting with people. So I'm excited to be here, and want to hear from you also about what you're interested in knowing more about. And just to speak a little bit to those who are interested in going into the childcare field, it's an amazing field. You're never going to get rich doing it. So just know that. But it is truly a blessing and great place to work with people, work with kids, and it's a great field. So yeah, my preschool, Whittier Wildflowers Preschool, like I said, we started 8 years ago. Megan, you can flip to the next one. And we are a nonprofit preschool. And our mission is here. It's to provide children and families from all backgrounds an innovative, affordable early childhood education in a fun, faith-based community where love and learning grow. So yeah, basically we have kids from 2 to 5 years old, and we are more of a traditional preschool in terms of our hours. We're mostly a morning program and then have some extended day options also. And what's really unique about us is we have a sliding fee tuition model. As a nonprofit, family tuition covers about half of our budget, and then the other half we raise. So we have some wonderful donors, individuals, churches, some grants and other partnerships that help to fund what we do. But we're a beautifully diverse preschool, urban preschool, and just helping to prepare kids for kindergarten. So it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And we really value making connections among families. We not only want to have community and education for the children, but also have that sense of community for parents as well. Because I always say parenting is a really hard job and we need each other. And so we try to be that support for one another as preschool parents. So yeah, you can go ahead to the next slide, Megan. And so, like I said, this is all straight from Parent Aware. So I'm so thankful that that you at Think Small. So for those who don't know, Parent Aware and Think Small are kind of within the same umbrella. I couldn't explain it all to you, and I won't even try. But if you Google Parent Aware or Think Small, then they've got this amazing resource guide for finding childcare. And so when you're looking for childcare, there's lots of things to consider. So what kind of childcare you're looking for? Sometimes that's grandma or auntie taking care of the kids. Sometimes it's a babysitter or a nanny. Sometimes it's a family childcare program. So that would be like a licensed, the state licenses family childcare programs as well as childcare centers and preschools. And then there's also programs through the public school, like Head Start, High Five, those that are within the school. And so when you're looking, you need to figure out, okay, what are your needs? You want something relatively close to home or close to work. Do the hours work for you? Does the price point work for you? Transportation. Some programs offer transportation, and especially the public school programs do also, and those are free, that Head Start and High Five. So that's, a great place if that's a possibility for you. And those are for kids usually in that pre-K year, that 4 and 5. Does anybody have any questions? I want to just kind of stop right there in terms of like kinds of childcare or what you may be, what you may be needing.
I also wonder if we could jump onto that page that you were referencing for looking up where you can locate childcare.
Sure. Yeah. So that is on with the Parent Aware. Yep. And then look at the top, click at the top where it says for parents, or yeah, this part right here. Yeah. If you go down, you put in your address and then you can, it'll show different options for you.
I'm looking up our warehouse facility address here in St. Louis Park.
Like, who's on Oxford?
Yeah, my internet is kind of crazy slow here. There we
Yeah.
go. We Street Childcare. That's adorable.
Yeah, and then you can see the different types, whether they're a center or a preschool or family childcare. You can put in what your needs are, your child's age, all of those different things, and then
If you get one thing out of tonight, I hope it's this. This is a really great tool.
Definitely.
Wow. Thank you, Ann.
Yeah. And just to explain a little bit more about the Parent Aware ratings. So all licensed programs, we go through state licensing, which is kind of one, kind of the baseline. And then the Parent Aware rating it's another way to just show the quality of the program. And it can be up to 4 stars. So like our program is now a 4-star rated. But I must say, and this is someone who's been through the process, it can be rather cumbersome and there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through. And so especially as a new program, when we first went through the Parent Aware rating process, we just got a 2-star rating, and that was just because we were a new program and how the different hoops you have to jump through. We weren't able to do all of that right away. So don't necessarily discredit somebody just because they don't have the higher rating. But for the early learning scholarships, they do need to have, I believe it's a 3 or 4-star rating to receive the Think Small or the early learning scholarships.
That's incredibly helpful, because I would definitely be someone who scrolls right on past, a 2-star if there were more. Yep.
Yeah. So, so just ask about those things when you're inquiring about a program. Ask why they got that rating. And, and like for us, it was because, well, it's a long story and you don't need to hear all that. But as a new program, it was just harder to jump through all of those hoops at that time. But anyway, so that's a little bit about the star rating. But definitely, as you're looking into programs, use that tool, and then give them a call and take a tour, ask some questions. You can go ahead and flip to the next slide. But yeah, things to ask, find out, do they have space available? If there's a waiting list, how long? Like for my school at the beginning as of August, I had a waiting list. September, we had a waiting list. By September 15th, we were all the way through that waiting list. We had spots for everybody. So, ask how long they expect the waiting list to take, things like that. What are the schedules, the hours that they offer, and those kinds of things. Tuition, whether they accept the childcare assistance, the Think Small scholarships, and if they have a sliding fee or if they offer scholarships too. Some programs do offer scholarships themselves. And then just important things like, what's a typical day like? What will my child be experiencing? And you'll want, kids need routine. If you're a mom of a little child, they do far better if they know what to expect. And if, breakfast time's always at about the same time, if they do the same things every day, they thrive on routine. And so ask about that schedule, and, there'll be, you want to have a balance of teacher directed time and free play time. Kids learn through their play. There should be lots and lots of learning through their play, and not necessarily, if anody comes in with a worksheet, walk out the door. That's not how little kids learn. But lots of play, but very intentional play. So how the teachers set up the classroom and those kinds of things. Learning is happening through all of their play. And then another really big important question is ask about the staff. What is the staff's experience? How long have they been there? What's the turnover rate? That will tell you a lot about a program. Early childhood happens to be one of those fields where there can be a lot of turnover, because we don't get paid like rocket scientists. So there can be a lot of turnover, but you want to find those places where the teachers have been there for a while, where the teachers have their degrees. At my school, we have 3 who have master's degrees, which is highly unusual. You want, if you can find those places with teachers with bachelor's degrees, with the CDA training that they were talking about, those things are important. And then also, like, what's the group size? How many kids are in a group? The smaller the group, the more kind of individualized attention, and that's a great thing. And then you want to set up a tour. Yeah, the next slide will talk a little bit about, what to look for when you're touring a place. How does it feel? And I put that as my last question, but really that's the most important thing. How does it feel when you walk in there? Can you feel the love? Does it feel like a warm, inviting place? Is it somewhere you would want to sit and play for a while with your kids? What's the environment like? And look at both indoor and outdoor environments. Kids need to use their big muscles. So there needs to be places where they can run around and be loud and all of those things. So outside on the playground, and then even, do they have indoor space where they can use their large muscles too? That's important. And then just general health and safety. Does it look clean? Are things in good repair? Things like that. That's important. And then again, talk about what's a day like? What are the activities like? Like at my school, we would show you all the different, we call them learning centers, but where the classroom is set up with different areas, block play, books, dramatic play, science, math, art, things like that, where the kids can just freely explore and they're learning so many things as they're doing this. Ask things like, what's the communication like with the families? Do you get daily notes? Or at my school, we use an app that's called Bright Wheel. And with that, then we can send the parents pictures of their kids, what they're doing during the day, or notes or things like that. So how they communicate, that's important to know about. Ask how they handle difficult behaviors. Yeah, talk honestly about that, because all kids have difficult behaviors sometimes. And so just ask what do they do with that? At my school, we talk about how, we're helping everybody to learn how to be good friends. And so teaching kids how to use their words to solve problems and take turns, how to recognize what they're feeling, and also recognize what their friends are feeling. Like, oh, your friend got really sad when you knocked down their tower. Let's talk about that. So really, those nurturing ways of solving problems together. That's what we want to hear about, helping to redirect kids who are having a hard time, or comforting them, or, are they hungry? Are they tired? All those kinds of things. That's what you want to hear about with difficult behaviors, not sitting in timeout, or, oh, we have this chart where we show how they're behaving. And no, we just want to be talking about that, talking about being good friends and how to use our words and solve problems and recognize our emotions. Yeah, and you want a place that really is respectful of all families. Look around. Are there, how is your culture represented in that place? Are there books? Are there posters? Are there things like that with families of all colors, all cultures represented? Because that is super important. We want to be honoring of all families, and you want to be in a place that is honoring of all families. Yeah, and then again, how does it make you feel? And bring your child along too, to visit. Whether it's the first time you're touring, or before you start, be sure your child gets a chance to visit, meet the teachers, so they can get acquainted and know about what's going to be happening. And so, yeah, that kind of goes into the next slide, which there we go. Yeah, ways to prepare yourself and your kids for childcare. And Parent Aware has put together this great transitions checklist. So Judith and Felecia, when you go back to work tomorrow, you have to tell everybody about all the ways that we've referenced parent aware in this, because you really know what you're doing. But yeah, so all of these things are straight from this checklist from parent aware. But, you know, so before your child starts something new, you know, talk with them about them, tell them about what you saw, what toys there are, about the teachers, things like that, and have them come visit too. And just show your child comfort. They might be feeling really leery about this, not sure, but just reassure them. When you show that you're feeling confident about it, then they'll feel confident too. Yeah, and take them to visit, and then help to coordinate your home schedule with what will be happening when their child's in school. So like if you have to get up early to get to school, make sure, you know, a few days in advance, as far in advance as you can, start getting to bed earlier and start practicing waking up earlier, you know, and having breakfast earlier, so that they'll be ready for school. And many schools do serve breakfast there too. But you know, and talk with them with your school about quiet time or rest time and what that looks like. And oftentimes kids can bring like a little lovey from home, a blanket or stuffed animal or something for quiet time, or other things. You know, talk with your child's teacher about if the child can bring a comfort item with them to school, like whether it's just a little card that they keep in their pocket, or a picture of your family. It was so sweet. We had one little 2-year-old, when she started, she would carry around this little itty bitty photo album, and in it would be pictures of mom and dad and her brother and her dog. And so she carried that around for the first week of school, until she was feeling confident enough, and then she would set it in her cubby and be ready to play. But just something a little bit like that to just help comfort your child at school, because it's a big transition. Help to make that drop off and pickup time a happy time. So plan ahead as best you can, so it's not a rushed time. So you have a little time to go in with your child, you know, help them hang up their coat, put their things away, wash hands, use the bathroom. That's the routine at our school. And then get settled in. You know, chat with the teachers. When your child sees that you are friends with your teachers, then they will be more open and loving with the teachers too. So those things are super important. And then when you pick up, you know, greet your child. And oh, one other thing I want to talk to you too with the drop off. Then don't linger at goodbye, and also don't sneak away, because if you sneak away, that might be easier for you, but it's not easier for the child 2 minutes later when they realize you're gone. So always have an intentional goodbye. I love you. I'll be back, you know, whatever time. I'll be back after lunch, or I'll be back after quiet time. You know, things like that. You know, I always come back. I love you. You're going to have fun. I'll see you later. That quick, a big hug, and then head out the door. Just because if you draw out that into what some may call the Minnesota goodbye, don't do that, because it makes it harder. It makes it harder for them, and harder for the teachers too, to help get them engaged. And then when you come back, hey, I'm back. See, I always come back. You know, big love. Try as best you can to not be chatting on your phone at that time. Give all your attention to the child, and, you know, check in with the teacher. Oh, how was their day? You know, share a little bit of information with the teachers, and then, oh, it was so much fun. We'll be back tomorrow, or we'll be back next time. And yeah, that's awesome. And then just remember to take care of yourself too. because this is a transition for you too. You may be feeling far more separation anxiety than your child, but and it's okay to feel that way. You know, honor that in yourself. Do what you need to do to, you know, help calm yourself. You know, it's always, for me, it's always deep breaths and, you know, or a little walk outside in nature, whatever it is to help calm myself down. You know, do that for you. It's a big transition, but, you know, but be confident that your kids are in a great place, and they're going to do well. They're going to be all the better for being at school. You know, they will learn so much and be ready for kindergarten, and you will be able to go and do your work and feel great about that. And then I always encourage to stay involved with the school. Schools do that in different ways, you know, conferences, back to school nights. Some have special events. My school, we do what we call family fun events. And so be involved with those things as much as you can, because building that community is important for your child, but it's also important for you too. I think of one family who was first came to my school 3 years ago, and one family was a new to the Twin Cities, didn't have a support system at all. Another family, they had been in the cities for quite some time, and these two families just became good friends because they connected in the hallway and chit-chatted, shared contact information. They were involved with some of our parenting events together, and they are now great friends. And I remember the one family, you know, saying a few weeks into school, they were so excited because now they had somebody to put down as an emergency contact for their child, somebody else they knew in the city, and it was a family that they had met at our program. So be connected, stay connected. It's important for you, and it's great for your kids too.
Oh, thank you so much, Anne. This has been phenomenal. One question I have, well, a couple of things. That take care of yourself piece. I think for some of us, you know, blessed or cursed, maybe we had in mind that when we became mothers, that we would be able to stay home with our little ones while they were littles. You know, some of us had that dream, you know, whether it was based on watching crappy TV or not. But I was heartbroken when I knew I had to put my kiddo into childcare. And my mother, who was a preschool teacher, told me, you know what? She is going to do just fine. And she did. There were lots of trained professionals and children loving people in her life. And the thing that really consoled me was when my mom said, you know, she's going to need you a lot more as a teenager. So save up your money and your time, because that's when she's really going to need you. And you know what? That was so true. That was so true. But it really helped with my own. I mean, we all have our own stories, right? And our own impressions of what life's going to be like. And I would like to say that to any of the, especially new moms in the room, that this may not be your ideal, having someone else take care of your kiddo so many hours a day. And yet you are just as important to them at different times of their life too. So I don't know if that's helpful for anyone.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, you will always be your child's parent, you know, and that's irreplaceable. And the caregivers, the teachers, they play a caregiving role, but they're not the parent. Only you can be the parent. And
That's right.
And so with that, you know, that taking care of yourself, and these are also the same things with taking care of kids too. When kids are having a hard time, usually it's because they're tired, they're hungry, or they're just overstimulated or understimulated. And so make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure your kids are getting enough sleep, eating good, healthy food, drinking water. Those things are so important for taking care of yourself. And I would also add, because just getting out in nature, you know, whether that's a walk around the block, you know, whatever it may be, you know, petting the dog, whatever it may be, to just to take care of you.
Thank you, Anne. Felecia, before we wrap up here and kind of, I'll you know, open it up for any questions or comments from our participants. In regards to the child care assistance resources you shared with us, do those overlap with Hennepin, with the various counties, or is that separate to
So
county assistance?
right. So any family that has child care assistance and the early learning scholarship, they can be used together. So if you have a copay, the scholarship will pay, will cover the copay.
Okay.
Sure. Yep.
Wonderful.
But you have to, and that's one of the really helpful pieces of the Parent Aware website. It tells you if the program is accepting the scholarship. Well, I mean, they're rated, so they don't have to. They can get rated, and they don't have to accept the scholarship. So that's an important question. But it also shows if they accept child care assistance.
Okay.
And the other thing I wanted to say is the Parent Aware rating is they can be a cohort all the way up to 4 stars to accept the scholarship. That won't change until 2024.
Okay. So it's also important, I mean, because there are callers and you know, participants who'll be watching this recording later that may not live in the Ramsey and Hennepin County areas, to check with your county government. And as you saw me there Googling, I always put the county name and child care assistance to learn more about accessing that information. All right. I'll stop the share screen here. Do we have any questions? I know, you know what, actually, I'm going to bring up one of our callers asked about the Parent Aware search, you know, when we were using the search function, is that list that we shared for low income families, or is the pricing reduced compared to other daycares? Felecia, do you happen to know, or Anne, the Parent Aware?
I believe that the list that anybody can use that. It's a resource for anyone in Minnesota.
So it's not just it's not just so, but I'm curious, could you go and use the scholarships or the assistance with those various daycares? There's probably going to be some need for assistance and navigation and figuring that piece out. Is that correct?
You can just ask the director when you call about information about the program, if they accept the early learning scholarship or child care assistance.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming not all of them
wanna,
do then. Is that right?
Right. Most do.
Okay.
Most do, I would say. And I would also say with the early learning scholarships and the child care assistance, apply right away, because it can be a very long process and a long waiting list. So apply for that long before you actually plan to start.
So if you're pregnant and you're thinking about
Yep.
childcare, do it now.
Yep.
No, you cannot apply.
Oh, not for
No.
not for
No.
early learning scholarship.
Okay.
Not for
No.
early learning. That one is for 3 and 4. And that one, you have a certain window, right? When does that window open, Felecia, for the early learning scholarship?
Right. So, well, typically, and it can change. We get all of our information from the Department of Education. So, but generally, we say that we can begin to accept scholarship applications for the upcoming fiscal year on May 15th. So if you know that your child is going to be 3 by September 1st, you can apply May of that year. Does that make sense? May 15th.
What is the fiscal year? Is it September?
It starts July 1st. Sorry, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, July. So it runs July. It's one full year, so July 1st. But that's not the only time we award. We award year round as long as we have funds. But the child has to be 3 or 4 before on or before September 1st.
Well, this has been fantastic. I am going to turn off the recording here.